Balthazar, former human god of war and fire, is no more. Defeated by the leader of Dragon's Watch and Orin. Shards of the fallen deity's knowledge perhaps still linger within the prismatic dragon to this day. We know close to nothing about Balthazar's past, of the times before he walked on Planeteria as a god. We know that he was the second of the Pantheon to set foot on Tyria from the mists, claiming it for the human race. He carried with him the severed head of his father. He had an half-brother named Mensis, with whom Balthazar was in an eternal conflict, taking place in the Fissure of Woe. Balthazar's army of Eternals against Mensis' shadow army. How could Mensis be so close in power to Balthazar to even pose a menace? Balthazar was, after all, a god. We could suppose that Balthazar ascended to godhood by dethroning his father, while nothing indicates that he got his powers from Mensis. What if Mensis is not actually Balthazar's brother, but is instead his doppelganger? It surely could explain his powers, and even his army could partly be a dark reflection of Balthazar's. In Guild Wars lore, a doppelganger is a dark reflection of oneself, and it was a key component in the process of ascension. Once inside Ogori Rock, player characters had to confront and cunningly defeat their own doppelganger to complete their ascendance. Doppelgangers reappear in Guild Wars 2 in the same region of the world, but their connection with Ascension is now unclear. They now merely manifest from beyond reality to hunt down to death unsuspecting adventurers. There is one more encounter with doppelgangers though, taking place in the secret library of the Durman Priory way back in Season 2. Once the Torch of Divine Fire is obtained through the Echo of Turaiyosa, we can choose to interact with an old mirror and let the entity lurking on the other side break free. We never actually saw Mensis, and there's only a couple of baffling mentions in Guild Wars 2, in the form of weapons. A torch, the fate of Mensis, and a greatsword, Mensis' Agony, which, for the sake of this argument, could well be a dark reflection of Balthazar's own greatsword. Perhaps we could say that Balthazar was never able to ultimately defeat his own doppelganger, and instead relegated it in the Fissure of Woe, where it started to thrive. Or maybe he deliberately kept it alive, to keep the eternal war from halting. When we ended up in Dragonfall, and part of the Fissure of Woe was transported to Tyria, we could still witness remnants of the Shadow Army patrolling around, with no signs of Balthazar's Eternals. Possibly because, willingly or not, they were all turned into Forged during the events of Path of Fire. Apparently, the existence of Mensis did not bother Balthazar at all, unless he had already dealt with him behind the scenes, unbeknownst to us. Ultimately, the rogue god of war was not strong-willed enough, and this lack of strength and focus might have been the very cause of his demise at our hand. His powers consumed him, turning him into a ravaging, blood-crazed psychopath. And now, following Balthazar's death, would his doppelganger Mensis cease to exist? Hard to tell. What do you think?